Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, let me thank you for convening this meeting to commemorate the 15th anniversary of the International Conference on Population and Development and the resulting program of action. I'd also like to thank His Excellency the Secretary General for his remarks yesterday and Ms. Thuraya Ahmed Ubaid for her steering call on action on behalf of UNFPA. Afghanistan aligns itself with the statement delivered on behalf of the G77 in China and thanks UNFPA for the leadership role it has taken in implementing the ICPD since its inception, including the assistance it has given to Afghanistan. We hope that all nations will take this opportunity to recognize our substantial progress and take stock of our remaining challenges. Mr. President, the International Conference on Population and Development, held 15 years ago in Cairo, was a breakthrough in the way we collectively understood the relationship between people and economic development. And it ushered in a revolution in our attitudes towards reproductive health and human rights. This understanding heavily informed the Millennium Development Goals, whose 10th anniversary we will be celebrating next year. Mr. President, Afghanistan remains strongly committed to the ICPD Program of Action, the Millennium Development Goals, and to the International Assistance Development Goals. Through the framework of the Afghanistan National Development Strategy and other national strategies, Afghanistan is aiming to systematically rebuild the shattered infrastructure of the country, build a dynamic national economy, and improve the daily lives of Afghans by providing security, access to basic services and health care, and through the focus on human rights, particularly the rights of women and girls. We have made progress in each of these areas, and we are certain that with the help of the international community, we will eventually be able to guarantee a dignified, healthy life for all Afghans. In particular, health indicators in Afghanistan have improved since the fall of the Taliban in 2001. The percentage of access to basic health services has increased from 9% in 2001 to 85% in 2008. There has been a threefold increase in use of contraceptives in rural Afghanistan, from 5% in the Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey, MICS, 2003 to 16% in the Afghanistan Health Survey, AHS, conducted in 2006. Trends in antenatal care use in rural Afghanistan show a several-fold increase from 5% in the MICS in 2003 to 32% in the AHS. Use of skilled birth attendants was substantially lower than use of skilled antenatal care, but a threefold increase was observed in rural Afghanistan from 6% in MICS 2003 to 19% in AHS 2006. Overall, approximately 15% of women who had delivered in the last 2 years had their delivery in an institution. In addition, over 6 million children are now in primary and secondary schools in Afghanistan, up from 1 million in 2001. Tens of thousands of students are in higher education, and more institutions to accommodate them are being built every year. Most notably, these students include more than 30% women and girls, something which was unthinkable under the Taliban. However, Mr. President, in Afghanistan, a particular challenge remains the high levels of maternal and infant mortality. In addition, illiteracy, lack of roads and transportation, inadequate financing for many of the key programs, inadequately trained health staff at all levels, including a general lack of female health staff, has contributed to impeding access to health services. Moreover, the deterioration of the security situation in certain parts of Afghanistan, especially in the south and southeast, have impacted on the gains made in the past years in the area of health and gender and are impeding the successful achievement of MDGs in Afghanistan. Finally, the lack of comprehensive, up-to-date data is a serious impediment to our efforts in Afghanistan, and we ask UNFPA to continue to support us with technical and financial assistance as we seek to undertake the Afghanistan population and housing census rescheduled from 2008. Mr. President, globally, according to most recent MDG report, we are still lagging behind in several areas, particularly in MDGs 3, 4, and 5, and 6. We encourage the international community to take this conference as a call to redouble our efforts towards achieving the MDGs and the other IEDGs and the larger framework of the ICPD program of action. In particular, South-South cooperation through regional groups and other multilateral organizations will be crucial to achieving our goals. We must also ensure that the financial crisis and other constraints do not restrict the technical and financial aid to developing countries, least developed in post-conflict and also least developed in post-conflict countries. Though the past 15 years have seen groundbreaking progress, we must sustain our achievements to date and recognize that all of our efforts will be required if we are to successfully achieve the ambitious goals we have set for ourselves. Thank you, Mr. President.